Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is our third installment of Outspoken Men's Edition.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Joe, we've got some good comments and stuff off the, our first one. We had some concerns about our intro deal, and we fixed that for the second one. And we've had some good compliments and things on the second one. So here we go on number 3.
Yeah, here we go. So, you ready?
Yeah, definitely. A lot going on. So
Yeah.
let's get right into it.
So what can I do for you today? You say you don't want to hurt yourself, right? No. Have you ever attempted suicide or anything like that in the past? Okay. Is there anything I can do to help you?
I could use a hug.
I'll give you a hug. Seems like you got a lot going on, man. It's all right. It's all right, man. It seems like a lot to take on, you know?
Good, we can get you some help.
Yeah, we can get you somebody to talk to and stuff. It's all right, man. It's all right.
And if you need to talk, if you can't talk to them,
You can call us. Call that number, dude. I'll come out and meet you. All right, brother.
each day like it's appreciate it.
Hey, if you ever need anything, you just call, right?
Means a lot.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm Jake, by the way. That's Fred.
All right, Jake, Fred, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
For real. I
Yeah.
do feel a lot better.
Good.
What's going on, boss? What's going on?
I'm on the phone with the VA hotline
Okay.
for suicide.
All right. Hey, I got you, man. All right. What branch you in?
Army.
Army? All right. Hey, my name's Kyle. All right. We'll help you out. All right, bud? I'm here with you. All right? I'm going to start an ambulance over here to us, okay? All right, bud?
I can afford.
Starting an ambulance to 6-8 off-ramp eastbound. I'm with a vet who's on the suicide hotline.
Here's
Hey.
my ID.
Sorry, man. Hey. You have anything on you?
No.
Okay, is it all right if I check in? Cool. Any deployments, bud?
What?
One? Well, hey, dude, it's a tough time for everyone in your position, all right? Relax, though. Hey, I'm here with you, okay? I'm here.
Have a hug.
Yeah. All right, man. So last episode we talked a little bit about how this starts, right, with men and how we are in just negating on expressing our emotions and our feelings and how we feel. It almost seems like we're too busy, right, to express exactly how we feel, or we don't have time to do it, or that stigma that we talked about last month. But the other thing that I kind of notice is that no one really wants to talk about it, right? Men don't do it because of the stigma, and because of years of just being raised in a manner that, hey, our feelings are secondary. It's a secondary emotion. We have to focus on the moment. We have to push forward. We have to, do things to ensure that, our families are good, or people that depend on us or rely on us are doing good. And we're so hyper focused on that we just don't think about it. But if you stop and relax for a moment and just look at interactions of men and women in life in general, for example, and just take a moment, anybody out there, just, and I asked you, Jay, to do the same thing. When a woman gets home from work, what she do? She grabs her purse, gets her keys, her Starbucks or whatever, her Dutch Brothers, and goes in the house, right? There's my day. You go inside and, ready to go talk about your day, right? When a man gets home, I know I do. I've done this for years. When I get home, I sit in my car for a little bit. I kind of just try to decompress.
Yeah, absolutely.
try to
I don't want to talk about work. I'm gone from work, man. I don't want to
yeah, but I kind of want to just let it all out. So when I get home, that's not on my mind. I
Right.
bring it down a notch, right? Or whatever happened at work today, I try to just get it out of my system so I don't take that home, right? I don't carry that burden with me, or that anger, or that whatever the case it was that happened at work today. You don't want to carry that inside, right? Because men do
That's
that.
right.
So we sit in our cars, we wait for a little bit, or if we have that long drive home, which a lot of men do, we use that time to decompress, or just, and if you're single, you don't really have anyone to go home to, we'll stop at a bar and grab a beer, kind of like, all right, I don't want to take this bad juju to my house, I kind of just
Right.
want to,
Yeah.
I want to keep it out, when you get home,
Yeah.
you want to, that's your sanctuary, right? That's your
Yeah.
your haven. That's where you go to relax. But just look at the differences of how that happens. Women go at work, and I've seen this in my multitude of careers, where you have women in a workplace, and they're kind of separate from men, right? Women they kind of group together. They talk about, oh my God, we're gonna have for lunch, or what are we gonna do this, or men get together and they're strategizing like what they're gonna do as far as jobs, or as far as like this, talking about
A
other
project
people
or something
or
coming up.
projects, or how they're
Yeah.
going to move forward with it, or who's in their group and what's going to be the weak link, and how can we help them to get better. And just our mentalities, our brain waves
Right.
are in so different levels that
Well,
people,
yeah, normal men and women. So
right, well, we're not talking about he, them, there, they, and all them, right? Z, Z. We're talking about the normality of being a male or a female, right? The other part clearly have mental health issues, but not related to how we're talking about. But everything is so different, right? We as a society, I don't say we because I don't identify as a woman, but I think women take men for granted, right? Today's generation, you see all these kids saying, female kids saying, or young females saying, oh, we don't need men. We're stepping it up. We're bringing it. We're doing all this, blah, blah, blah. We don't need men. That's a thing of the past. That's a Gen Z or Gen X thing. That's a baby boomers. They're gone. Baby boomers are retiring. That workforce is going history. Gen X is next. We're taking over. This is the generation. We don't need men. Right. But just take a moment and think about that statement. We don't need men, right? It's very easily said. It's a very smooth, the words flow out of a feminist mouth so easily, right?
Right.
But if you think about it, let's look at the infrastructure of society, right? Women might design buildings, but who builds them? Who maintains them? Right? Who does the roads? Who maintains the roads? Who are the men that are down in the sewer? Yeah, women could take over these roles, but do they want to?
No. Overwhelmingly, construction-esque jobs are overwhelmingly blue collar jobs are overwhelmingly men.
Yeah,
and again, you said it. Women can take over those jobs, but it's that same whole thing. Where are there men nurses? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or do women dominate that industry? Absolutely. Are there men teachers? Absolutely. Do women dominate that industry? Absolutely, because they prefer to go into we all have our preferences of what we like,
especially Filipino women.
For nursing. You know what, man? The thing is, it's like that's a culture when they're coming over here. They're like, we know you can make money. It's a good job and everything, and your aunt and uncle and sister and cousin, they've all done it. So
everybody's a nurse.
Yeah, everybody's a nurse. So just do it. And the sad thing is that we don't have that same kind of ongoing mentality nowadays. Because if you go back in time, right, and if your dad was like I don't know, made horseshoes and metal things, it was like a blacksmith or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was 99.9% sure you were going to become a blacksmith, right? Because you were going to apprentice with them and then eventually get into that job with them. And now, kids are like, I don't want to do it. My dad's a cop or a truck driver or whatever. I don't want to do that. I want to go sit in an office and, code for Microsoft or something like that. And that's fine. You can do whatever you want, but it's the mentality's changed a lot. And, men don't have that, that protective, I don't know, attitude towards women anymore. Because it's one of those things. I replied to there was a post, gosh, it was a week ago or so. And anyways, the guy was talking about how, you know, all the stuff with women's sports, and there's guys now in women's sports and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I posted, I said, hey, it's really sad that men today, like real men, don't stand up for these women. And the fact that you have announcers and all these people that are, you know, praising this gender dysphoria stuff is really sad, that we don't have real men to be there. And part of that reason is because there's no desire for real men to exist in this society anymore, right? Like you were saying earlier.
Well, that's a mindset, because
it is.
men are still needed, because roads are still
absolutely.
there, sewer systems,
Right.
the buildings still need to be built, landscaping still needs to be done. I mean, that's just a mindset, but the reality of things is we still need men,
Yeah,
real men,
absolutely.
you know. And,
Right,
and let's,
right.
and let's think about it, Jay. We keep saying that we're like, we don't need men, and you know, people posting it, and you know, yes, everything's going to different directions right now, right? We've become a society that's godless and fearless of everything. And
That's a big part of it, man.
but the truth of the matter is, just because you don't acknowledge it doesn't mean it's not there. Correct? So
Right.
just because you're like, oh, we don't need men, okay, but that car you're driving that's on that road that you're pumping fuel at in the gas station, that's all dominated by men. Men built the roads. Men are the ones that are in the assembly lines. Women are too.
Yeah.
Don't get me
The
wrong. But
oil fields, you
the
know,
oil
getting
fields,
the-
it's men out there.
yeah,
You those
crude oil
those
out.
those guys on those oil rigs, that those guys are those you know, they're out there. Electricians, high power electricians, you know, journeymen. They're up there on helicopters running wires to get,
Yeah,
you know.
that's-
I don't see women on that. I don't see women on top of these on top of the entire Empire State Building, on top
Right.
of that pole that sits on top of that building to change the light bulb that's up there in the very top, right? I don't see them doing that. So I don't see them on the side of the buildings washing the windows. There's a lot of these things that, yes, you are correct. Physically, women can do the job. Mentally and emotionally, do they want to? No, they don't want to do it. They're not mentally prepared for it. That's not what they want. You know, women have an outlook of life that this is the kind of job I should have. That's for men, right?
Yeah.
That, let's be honest. That's the
Did you
truth.
did you see the one, you know, how they do those on the street interview kind of things?
Mhm.
And this guy goes up and interviews a pack of girls that's walking by, and a couple different packs of girls that are walking by, and says,
Pack of wolves, you mean? Just kidding.
so would you rather make $100,000 a year but be called like a janitor, or would you rather have a CEO title but make $1 a year? Every single one of the girls said they'd rather have the CEO title and make $1.
Labels.
And all the guys, like, they were like, man, give me a mop, give me a broom, shoot, I'll make
Yeah.
$100,000 a year cleaning toilets and sweeping floors. I don't care, you know. So yeah, it's a lot different on mindset, you know, and what.
Correct.
So the thing is like you, I think the last episode, or maybe it was the first episode, you were saying, you know, as a guy, say you lose your job or something like that, and you have your family to support, or something happens where, you know, all of a sudden you have another expense. Maybe the car breaks down, you know, stuff starts going haywire in the house. You have another kid. Like, these expenses start popping up. You work overtime, you'll get another job, and you don't care what you do, right? I'll stand on a trash truck and collect trash around the
Right,
city.
right.
Those guys get paid pretty good, you know, to do that kind of stuff. I've never in my life ever, I mean, I've had a few places that I've been and watched trash trucks come in. It's always guys, because women don't want to stink at the end of the day.
It's
you know?
beneath them. But you're right. You're absolutely correct. I mean, we will do like whatever it takes as men to survive. But that's something that started since biblical times, Jay. Right? We were told, hey, you need a woman to make you who you are. No, God said you need a woman you need to not be alone. You need a companion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the problem here is, not only have these extreme feminists lost their mind in removing males or men from the equation and just making it about them. That's incomplete. That's wrong. That's not logical, right? You can't have a society where men are not there, because you're not going to be able to reproduce, right? You're not, the
Right.
population is going to die. right? You need men. Any way you look at it, you need men. The problem is that's happening today is that women are challenging men, and not in the workforce, but just in a status in life, right? They want to be recognized. They want to be, I'm a woman, blah, blah, blah. Men have never taken that from women. We as men, real men, idolize women. We hold them dear to our hearts. We protect them. That's our role. That's what we do, right?
That's right.
How many times you could be going through the hardest time of your life, right? And this has happened, and I've seen men go through this. There are financial issues going on. They got trouble at work. They've just shut down part of the factory. There's so many factors. The guy's at home stressing out. He's figuring ways to make more money, or to make to what do you call, to subsidize whatever money he's making now,
right.
just to push his family ahead. But you know what he does when he's home and his wife gets home? He turns that attitude around, and you know what he's going to do? He's going to ask his wife, "Hey, how was your day, honey?" With no regard to his own, no regard, right? How many times
she says, "How was your day?" He goes, "Oh, it's good." He's not going to.
Okay, well, let me take it one. That's if they ask, right? But how many times do women really ask about our day? Because when we ask, they'll go into their thing, right? Well, guess what happened today, and blah blah blah. And by that time, we're exhausted. We don't really want, we just heard your entire life story that would take maybe a 10-year period. They've condensed it down into an hour conversation when they got home, right? So many things happened to them. Like, I'm surprised they're still alive some of these times, because of Sally said something at the water fountain, and just so many things are happening. But the truth of the matter is, when they're done with their story, most of the time it's like, oh, okay, I got to get up. I got to go change. I got to go take a shower or whatever. But do they ever stop and just say, how are you? How can I help you? How's your day? Man, you know what? Could you imagine a guy just sitting on the counter, eating a cereal in the morning, knowing that he's going to have that long day again? He's going to be working his ass off, whether it's in the oil fields, whether it's summer trucking, whether it's on a railroad, whether it's in a factory, wherever it is, he knows it's going to be a 10-hour, 12-hour day, right? He's going to work it. He's not looking forward to it. He's tired. His body aches. He didn't get enough sleep, because, he has to hear your end. You're watching TV. There's no consideration because that's all out the window. Let's be honest, right? And he's just sitting there. But how many times, you know how much it would mean for a man if a woman just came up to him and just hugged him?
Oh,
know, and just tell him, I love you and I hope you have a great day today.
Just
acknowledge the man in your life.
Right. In our intro, those two guys that, that the police are having interactions with, both of them, what's the thing they say at the end? Can I just get a hug?
A hug is a powerful thing, because that's a physical way to show emotion, right?
Right.
Is by a hug, and people have stopped
and the thing is, the hug is not, it's an emotional thing, but it doesn't have to be like, a lot of people pull any kind of physical touch into like sexual context, right? And you get that. But the thing is like two guys that are like brothers, like you and I, or actual blood brothers or whatever, man, you get a hug from another dude that you haven't seen in a long time or whatever. I
want to stab him. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Would you?
Here, let me hug you.
Did you hug my brother that way?
It does, man. It means those simple things mean a lot, and especially
it feels genuine, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, and especially because that's the thing, man. People shake and do all the fist bumps and all this kind of stuff, but if somebody comes up to you and like really gives you a hug, you think about even the hardcore gangster guys and stuff like that out there in the world, dude, when those guys have respect for each other, they'll give one another a hug, so when you start to think about it, how much that one little gesture, that one little motion, that one little physical thing that in a way you'd say that doesn't mean anything, it means a lot to people.
It does,
and especially if somebody's going through a really a trying time, and there's so many times that we assume that other people are, they're purposely being jerks or whatever, and we never know. I used to do sales trainings for bunch of people, and I'd get up at one time and,
The
have
cartels. I know. Just say it. We don't know.
40 to 50 people, at one time doing training. I do 2 of those a day on usually every week. And I remember this one time I gave this kind of an analogy, and it's the analogy was for what a paradigm shift is. And a lot of people don't understand what this is, and we all have it once in a while. And so my example was, imagine you're going down the freeway, and this always drives us nuts, right? You're going down the freeway, everybody's doing their thing, and then there's one jerk car cutting everybody off and doing stupid stuff. They're, especially when the Fast and the Furious guys are racing, or whatever, or motorcyclists that are being dum-dums. So imagine this one car is, cutting everybody off, and you can see them in the rear view mirror, and you're like, man, they're going to come up behind me and, ram into me. They're coming so fast. They cut around you, and then they cut you off, and you got to throw on your brakes, and they're cutting other people off. So what is your thought right now? You're kind of angry. You're like, dang it, this person, they pissed. So not recommending you do this, or that we would do this, but you chase them down because you're going to give them the bird, or, throw your McDonald's soda at their window, or whatever you're going to do. You're going to catch up to them and give them a piece of your mind. So you start swerving, and you get up next to them. And when you look through the window, you see a mom driving, eyes just teary, and her child slumped over in the seat, possibly, who knows what's going on, rushing him to the hospital. Now, how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Completely different, right?
Yeah.
That's a paradigm shift. So that's the thing, is that we see, other races, other sex, so men and women in different ways, until there's that shift. And then we're like, oh, I didn't realize that's what you're going through. I didn't realize that's what, you're dealing with. And I think that's, I'm not saying that guys are really good at, we're kind of, I always say we're kind of simple and stupid. If you don't tell us that you're having a bad day, or we can usually sense it, but we don't know unless you actually say something.
Usually when you snap back at us, we know.
That's right. And yeah, a lot has to do with demeanor, how your demeanor is and everything. But we don't give off any of that. We try to hide all that and bury that stuff, because we see, our thing is that protective guiding unit that we have in our soul, is that we want to protect the woman, the female,
right?
And how do we do that? Well, she's already stressed for her
Lock
day.
them in the cabin. Oh, sorry.
Why am I gonna unload a bunch of my garbage that she can't fix? See, we're fixers, right? That she can't fix or do anything about. I'm not gonna unload that on her, because now I'm already stressed. Why am I gonna stress her out for stuff? Now she's like, oh my God, what did you say? The plant closed down? How are we going to pay our bills?
Yeah.
What did I do that for? Why am I going to stress her out? So that's
because here's the thing. I think by stressing her out, it only amplifies your stress level.
And then I'm going to stress out more too, because she's going to stress me out.
Right. Well, why? And why does that happen? Let me tell you with my ex-wife experience. I love my
how you tread.
I love my ex-wife. We have a great relationship. She's a great mother. She was a great wife. The thing is this: when women have a level of rationale, right, that we do not, right? We're like, I'm man, let me fix, right? Or let me break, right? That's what we do. We go out there like, hey, that needs fixing. Freaking drill comes out, screwdriver, everything, hammer, boom, we're gonna fix it, right? That's what we do.
Don't tell me unless you want it fixed, kind of thing. That's
right. Hey, my car's making a noise. Before you know it, the tires are off, brakes are changed, everything's done.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just the way life is for men. So when you tell, like, for example, if I had bad news and I'd go home and tell my ex-wife, like, hey, yeah, guess what happened? And they're the ones that, oh my God, because of that, we're going to lose 30% of the income, and we can't pay this. And they make things so like, oh my God. And it almost seems like it's an impossible task now. Like your stress level went from where it was to skyrocketed to the top. Now, but you still can't show that, right? Because the more you stress her out, the more she stresses you out. And the more logic she tries to throw at you, which is kind of illogical right? Because they look at the worst case scenario. We look at we try to see the green pasture over the brush. You know what I mean? So we try to look at like, we could still do it, right? How many times have we done that? Like, the screw, oh man, we've threaded it, but you know what? I think we can still fix it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, strip the threads.
Yeah, but we just, that's what we do. We'll figure it out. We'll rig it to make it work, and if that means, you know what, I'm gonna go work at McDonald's from midnight till 2 in the morning, and then go work at another job. You know, that's how we do. We don't sit there and think about it. We fix it. We just go to it. We take action. That's what we do, right? You said it earlier. We're very simple men. Like, women will look at a man and see, all right, first of all, how much money does it make? Can he maintain me? Can he buy me what I need? Blah, blah, blah. Right? That's what women look at nowadays, feminists today, right? You know what men look at?
Which is hypocrisy.
Right.
And we'll get to that in a minute.
What do men look for? You know what? That girl could be working at McDonald's, but she's cute. She makes me laugh, and she doesn't bug me. You know what I mean?
In my life, she doesn't yell at me. She doesn't stress me out. Yeah.
Men look for things that they need to survive and to keep going. They don't look for if you leave man to himself, leave us alone to ourselves. You know what you're gonna have? You're gonna have a bed that's on the floor with a milk crate as a nightstand, and like 150 guns, right? Or 150 game consoles and games, or computer system. They're gonna do stupid stuff because we're just simple. Like, you know what? I don't need a bed frame. I could use that money to go buy another TV or to buy a video game or to buy a sight for my rifle. You know, that's how simple we are. I don't need a couch. I'll get a beanbag. And my homies are cool with beanbags, right? Am I wrong?
Not like a love sack, a beanbag.
No,
like
a beanbag, bro.
$9.99 beanbag from Big Lots.
A big Joe's beanbag from Target, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But am I wrong?
I don't shop there anymore. So.
But am I wrong though?
No, that's
we're simple people.
Right. So, and I know this is a fact because you remember there was a time in my life when everything kind of went weird, and at my house, there was 3 articles of things because I had nothing in there. Zilch. There was nothing in my home. The first 3 things I purchased was what? 2 chairs and a big screen TV.
You can't be without TV, bro. Back then, that's all
I had. Yeah. I remember you came over and we're just sitting there in the chairs watching the TV like, this is it. This is life.
This is life, baby.
I didn't even have a mattress or anything. I slept on the floor for a couple nights before I got a mattress. So,
but we're simple. We're animalistic. We're just raw, bro. That's what men are. Men could survive in anything, right? And I mean real men. So when we're talking about men, we're talking about real men, the men out there that identify as men who are men because they have a PP, right? So that's what I'm talking about. So
last time I checked.
Last time I checked. Might not be the world's biggest, but
oh gosh, here we go.
Anyway, but you know, we are very simple. We're simplistic. We don't need a lot to survive. We're okay. But when we have a family, man, we'll do whatever it takes, man. If she wants this, that's what we're working for. You want that? Right. That's what we're working for. The kids need this. That's what I'm working for. Right? We don't. Right. But and so if you from the outside looking in, it's going to look like, oh man, you know, this guy, he works so much. But do we ever buy anything for ourselves? No, we'll buy one thing or here. We'll buy something for the garage because I used to love my garage, but that was my thing. I'd buy look, I got an organizer.
That's the pseudo man cave.
Yeah, I got my little organizer out there for my garage, right? Or I just installed a TV back out there. I'm big time now, right?
So man, when you put a TV in the garage, you know you have arrived.
Daddy's home, but
that's it.
we don't need a lot of things, you know, and we don't demand a lot of things, and we don't want them. What we do want, and what we do seek is to have peace at home.
Peace. Right? That's the biggest thing.
That is it. So let me tell you something. I'm going to be quick about this. If you are married or you have a man and he's out drinking and he's drunk, and if you ask him, how are you really doing? You're not going to be ready to hear what he has to say.
Right.
I don't think you'll be ready for that because let me tell you, men hold back a lot of things. And there's this thing, it's in Spanish. My dad used to tell me that a drunk and a child will always tell the truth. Right. And if you ever find yourself in that situation and you feel like you want to know what's really on your man's mind, ask him when he's drunk. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to be ready for that. So Maybe think about that before you do it, and maybe just
Yeah.
ask him when he's not drunk, "What can I do for you? How
Yeah.
are you?" You know, mental health for men is a serious thing. It's something that's been um, really not looked at for really for almost generations, right? No one really cares about it. No one looks at it.
Right.
No one wants to talk about it, right? Because from the men's side, if you show feelings, you're a sensitive man, and you're not really a man, right? From a woman's side,
Yeah.
a woman doesn't want a man that's sensitive, who's delicate, who's going to cry, because then he's not a man, right? So either way you look at it, we're in a losing end. We really are. So we have
Yeah.
to take care of each other. We have to take care of ourselves. I think it's important that we do that.
Well, I tell you what, man. I kind of alluded to this a minute ago. Feminism is probably one of the most hypocrisy-based things. So most of your feminists are ultra liberal women, right?
Yeah.
And so they say, "Oh, we don't like conservatives or Republicans or whatever you want to put a label on." The labels are stupid, anyways. But
Yeah.
whatever you want to label that. And so they're like, "Well, I want to hang out with a liberal guy." No, they don't actually. Because if you think about it, so what does a liberal, or I should say a feminist woman, think about when it comes to a relationship? Well, I'm equal to the man or better. We're better. We don't need men. We can throw them away. In fact, there's again a bunch of those girls that they started saying guys need to off themselves. That's how little of importance guys are. And so, okay, so if that's the case, so for women that still want to have a relationship with the man, do you want a guy that makes less money than you? No. Well, that's somebody that's a little bit stronger or better than you. You want a guy that's shorter than you? No. Well, then that's, do you want a guy, and you can keep going on. Well, it sounds like you want a man that is more manly, that has, and I'm not saying better as a person. I'm not
So you're
saying
if
that.
you're short, you're liberal?
No, you're
All right. I just want to clarify that, because
what, you think you're liberal or what?
I identify as conservative.
Identify as 7'2". Thank you very much. So no, but I mean, most, when they have done questionnaires and with females of whatever party they're of, or left or right based or whatever, most women want guys that act like guys, that will open doors for them, that will, hold their hand, will pay for dinner, and there's nothing wrong with a woman paying for dinner or splitting it down the middle. But these are the things that most, if you ask and survey most females, they're going to say, I would like a guy to be a guy. Well, the thing is, you want the new liberal-esque guy, yet you still want, what was the Beaver family dad? What was his name? Cleaver Beaver or whatever. I don't remember.
No, the Beaver was his name. The Cleavers was their last name.
Oh, the Cleavers. Oh, yeah.
Was it
Chuck
Harry?
Cleaver? I don't know.
Harry Cleaver?
Harry Cleaver.
I can't remember.
Wow. So, so they want that, 1950s perfect dad, yet they want a guy that's going to go march at a, environmental rally with them. It's just, you're not going to have the same two people
with a mask on,
thing, with a mask on.
No, and you hit the nail right on the head, though. When women say, they're leaders now and they're equal to men and blah, blah, blah. But then you go to a restaurant and you say, hey, all right, we're splitting this check. They'll be like, they're looking at you like, whoa. Hey, man, that's part of being a man, is, you pick the tab up, right? But if you're going to sit out there and spew your hate about men and say that equal, and I'm just as equal as a man and blah, 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 then pay the bill. Right. If you want to go straight on head to head with a man, right? Then do what men do. Don't come at me with your leftist belief, your progressive left belief about feminism. If you want to be equal to a man, then be equal to a man. That's what I'm saying. Don't come up with me with your ideology that, of this progressive feminism, saying that, we don't need men and blah, blah, blah. Well, then, you know what? If men just stop working, stop doing everything that we do, women will have nothing to do. Nothing. They could go to the work, but they ain't going to be no job, because who's the boss? A man. right? So you're what are you going to do in society? Well, you're just going to go and just go have coffee? I mean, because things will stop moving. Let's be honest. I mean, if we're going to look at it, if women want to take the stance of being as progressive feminists, let's be honest about it. You know, you cannot pick and choose what part is a feminist, one part is a masculine, and you can't keep bringing up that toxic masculinity stuff. You have to. We have to have.
That's a made up word.
It
Anybody
is.
can be
It is a
toxic.
made up word. There,
Anybody
people,
can be
a male
toxic,
and a
man.
female could be toxic. There's in fact
Yeah.
more toxic women than there are men. Right? Men have at this point, men in society, real men, conservative men. When I say conservative, I'm not talking about the political party of the Republicans. I'm talking about belief systems, morality, conservativeship of a man. We're not going to tolerate that stuff. You know, there's a clear division, right? And both men and women are toxic, right? But at this point, men had given up on women. They just have. That women have gone so extreme on their belief systems, on feminism, that men have just stopped caring and stopped giving up, and now they're just starting to take care of themselves, and they should take care of themselves. You know, at this point, I just want my rib back. You know what I mean? I'm done with this, because at the end of the day, if you don't want a man, fine. If you want to do for yourself, great. I encourage you. I have a daughter. I want her to be a leader, right? I want her to not need somebody. But you know what? I taught that to my boys too. I taught them to not need and to be independent, right? To learn how to do their own things for themselves, not depend on anybody. But that's anything that a parent wants. That'd be either it's a male or a female, my daughters or my sons. I want them to be independent. I don't need them to rely on anybody, right? But that's not have nothing to do with feminists. I raised my daughter to be a little girl. That's what I did. I raised my boys to be boys. That's what it is. That's our jobs. Men in Jesus' time had roles. The men were the sheep herders, right? The women stayed at home and maintained the home, right?
Right.
And the boys, what they do? They'd be out there with their dads, learning how to be sheep herders. This is what we do. This is what we are. You know, men provide, and women, you're not there just to be there and exist. You are our peace. You are what we call our home, right? Yours where we come to find that solace in peace and unity and love and everything else that, we talked earlier about those hugs, Jay. And when you get a hug from someone that loves you or that you love, it's like getting a hug from a parent. It's like one of those, like, you don't ask for it, but you need it. You know, those nice little warm hugs, like they're your parents and you always idolize them because they're like, oh my God, they're my dad. That's my mom. But then when they came down to your level and hugged you, that meant so much. That was like, oh my God, it's like nothing, like you felt secure. It was like your security blanket, like nothing could touch you. Right. That's what a hug is to men. You hug a man, your husband or whatever, your boyfriend, your dude, your homie, whatever. Man, that hug means a lot. You're relaying so much information in a hug. You're saying, like, you're telling them that you love them. You're telling them that I got you. You're telling them that nothing's going to hurt you. You're telling them so many things in a real true hug, right?
I appreciate you. That's
absolutely. Now, we're not talking about the side hugs, right? You do it like, hey, what's up, homie? You know what I mean? We're talking about a hug. You know what I mean? We're talking about a hug that means a lot, that comes from the heart, that has emotion, that has love, that has so many things. I don't know. We could go on and on and on about this, and that's why it's such an important topic, and that we continue to talk about it, not just here, but amongst ourselves.
Yeah, y'all. Well, definitely, leave us any comments that you have about these episodes, and if you'd like to, join the conversation, please let us know. We're gonna try to work out to maybe have some, guests and stuff on the show. We got to figure out how we're gonna make all that happen, but yeah, we appreciate you guys showing up, and really, if there's men in your life, make sure you give them a hug, say hi, see how they're doing,
ask them how they're doing.
This is whether you're a female or a male, and there's a guy that's kind of lonely in life, and
check up on your friends.
It's not always the signs that you think. It could be somebody that's really got smile on their face, and I'm great, and they're hiding a lot. They're packing it down.
Look at Robin Williams.
Yeah, look at Robin Williams. He's a perfect example. I mean, what was his quote? Some of the happiest people are some of the people struggling with the worst demons and things. And yeah, it's That's true. Well, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Check us out mid-month Wednesdays for Outspoken Men's Edition. We'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back here next month this time. And then check us out every Tuesday for our Outspoken, Joe and Jay Outspoken. So we'll definitely see you next week. So you guys take care of one another. Be good, and definitely give a guy a hug.
Yeah, guys, make sure you got check up on your friends out there, all of them, men, women, everybody. We really need it right now. Society is at its worst. We're living in a godless time. Go to church and give someone a hug, man.
Yep. Well, you guys have a blessed week. We'll see you soon.
We'll see you next time.